Hello, everybody, and good evening. Hopefully, you can hear me. I have no way of checking to see if this is actually working. So, if somebody can give me a 5 by 5, that would be super duper. Looks like the room is filling up rapidly, and that is a good thing. As far as I can tell, Light Raider and identified so in the chat. Catitude number 2. Alrighty, then you are deterred. Alrighty, then when you get a chance, check out the news channel in the members only Discord. I have a little article there for you. It's kind of interesting. Actually, it's a video. I think you're going to love it. Let's see here. Looks like K Kim showed up. We got Cindy Hoffman, pastor from reality, live from Walmart. Miss Melody showed up. Miss Melody, I have not seen you. Well, looks like Miss Melody has this. Miss Melody, did you just create your account today, Miss Melody? Because YouTube is telling me that nothing happened today. So I will go look again. Rose is in the house. Good morning. Everybody's giving me a 5 by 5, and Preston is present. All right, guys. So I got myself, if you haven't figured it out, I'm starting to do both morning and evening live streams. And the reason I'm doing that is because I was talking to a few people over the last few days, and they really like the preparedness based stuff that I'm doing in the mornings because they're kind of like little guides to get things going. What's going on? Oops, we missed you this morning. Um, and you know what? I'm pretty sure I'm in top chat. Here we go. Let's go ahead and fix that now. Live chat it is. And people were like asking especially when I did the test last night. They were like, they were asking like, hey, can you do more of the current news and things like that? So what I've decided to do is we're going to make a test run this week, okay? And we'll see how it works out. And I'm going to be doing like news from a different perspective. I'm not going to like try to regurgitate this other crap that a lot of YouTubers are doing. But and we'll have a little fun with it too as well, I think. But the reality is that people don't actually see some of the stuff that is their vision of the way things are going down really aren't the way they're going down. And I can only tell you this from my experience in the government and the things that I've seen and how they would actually um, be reacting to certain things. So I've got believe it or not, at night I like to treat myself to a piping hot cup of chamomile tea in my Marine Corps Honor, Courage, and Commitment mug. Gotta love it. I've got a fancier one than just, but this thing holds a lot more stuff. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that have happened today. Now, I will tell you guys today has been a very, very wild news day. I normally start collecting the news for these kind of things. Um, Hey, Bradley, good to see you, bro. I normally start collecting news about midday because it can get away from you. It's one of the reasons I don't do it very often. But like I said, we're going to give it a shot this week and see what happens. And probably around 3, maybe 4 o'clock, the news cycle exploded. So a lot of the stuff that I had fired up, it's like really not what happened today in the current news, things like that. But we're going to take a run at it. And it also took me down a rabbit hole that I did not expect that we will be discussing tomorrow because it's not really national news. It's something a lot of people don't really know a lot about, but we're going to get into it anyway. All right. So, with that said, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, do me a favor, guys. Hit that button for me. It does help the channel to get that boost going to get us started here. I'm trying to see. I've got a way to like see where's it at. Give me a sec. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get and make a quick adjustment here so that I can see what is happening. I'm limited in screens. All right, let's see here. That's funny. My concurrent viewers just went from like 15 to 7, so I don't believe that for a second. I'm not buying it. Current bit rate is lower than expected. I don't know why it keeps telling me this. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Anywho, with that said, let's go ahead and hey, somebody put in the chat how many people are actually in here. I'm kind of curious to see what YouTube is doing because it's acting a little weird. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into it. I'm going to push a magic button over here, and we're going to take a look at this kind of stuff here. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of ease our way into the news. 13, 14, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. We're going to ease our way into this. As you can tell here, we've got the old X fired up. and I thought it was interesting. What I want to do is cover this, but I want to just like, let's just get it out of our systems. Let's just get it out of our systems. So let's go ahead and do that now.
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay, we go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay, we go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago.
I love watching
and I
your
was very
facial
clear, and I
expressions
said
when this
no.
question is asked.
Okay, we go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Again, you've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a
It
no.
will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son?
So it's pretty clear that it was all just a bunch of bull. Looking at the chat there, I'm glad everybody got a good giggle out of it. It is kind of funny because it's like, if you're a member, you should have seen the members video only or the members only video today about perspective on pardoning his son. But evolving situation. Yeah, that's word salad, right, Bradley? He said no before he realized they were actually going to sentence him. Exactly. No one is above the law. You guys should see that one floating around. No one should be above the law. No one's above the law. You know? Let's see here. Miko says the only reason I got I need to make that chat bigger so I can read it. The only reason he got a pardon, 10% of the big guy protection, his plan, and plain and simple. Yep. Honestly, believe that to be completely true. Pastor of Reality says Hunter is such a goofball. He will continue to commit felonies. If you don't suffer consequences for your actions, you keep doing them. Won't be long before Hunter is arrested again. It's very possible. It's very possible. But the thing is the Bidens think that they're Kennedys, and in many ways they are similar to that family, and they will try and protect their own. They'll just do the same thing they always do. They'll just keep Hunter close. That way he can't screw up. That way they can't find cocaine in the White House, that kind of thing. Bradley says, on the bright side, since you can't go after Hunter now, nor Biden because he was president, so we can still get Hillary. That's hilarious. At least at least he pardoned J6. I'm not aware of that. In fact, there is a plan in place to take care of that. Miko says pardon goes back to 2014 to president to protect Biden's ass. 100% true. We're going to cover some of that. Bradley says, whoops, that was autocorrect. My bad. Clinton Foundation. Wouldn't say that again. Wouldn't say that again. Yeah, you're about to get Hillary, Broseph. Okay, so as usual, the left pushed back on this, and it's a big word salad game with them. Let's go ahead and push this button right here. We're going to make this bigger because that's what they like us to say. And here we
I understand why he would do it, but I wonder to understand why lie about it for so long.
I would stop calling it a lie.
Okay, why repeatedly say you're not going to, and you do?
that was the look of maximum
part of this
butthurtness.
country, half of it that doesn't support Biden, doesn't know him personally, doesn't get to have phone calls, and they're just looking at a system that seems like it only benefits the people who are in
Well,
power.
I'm going to say,
what precedent does that set?
well, here's what it says. It's a precedent for all of us to open our eyes because we've elected someone who is in a similar situation.
Okay, now watch Whoopi try to spin this giant BS web. Watch her like come dead to have to think about what she's saying, and then blah, watch what happens.
Who didn't have a drug problem, who knew what he was doing, who clearly stood and said, I can do this, and he did it. So I think,
Oops.
for many, many reasons,
Well,
this is very different than any other situation that we have ever dealt with. Because
no real
when we're
words.
talking about who gets a pardon and who doesn't get a pardon, this man, I think Biden had no intentions of pardoning Hunter. And I think the more stuff that went down, I think he said, well, why am I busting my behind to stay straight and do this when nobody else is?
Stuff that went down like your crime family. Okay.
I thought he was going to win, and I just wish he would have been honest with the public.
He said he wasn't going to pardon him even after he lost.
Well, isn't that interesting? And that basically covers the humor part of today's get together. And I think this is the same. Yeah, that's the same thing. All right, so obviously there is something going on there. The propaganda show. I love it, man. West Virginia Papsy. What happens to Dems follow rule of law, unlike MAGA? All Dems do is talk about it. They have no intention of doing it at the highest levels, at the elite levels. These people, they think that they are above the law and that they are the enforcers of the law, that the law does not apply to them. So it is what it is. Are you in top chat? Didn't see the comment you stated. No, I'm in live chat, but I mean, you should be seeing it. I don't understand why. Maybe it's a glitch in the matrix because hold on, let me check something real quick here. Let's go back to that one. Do you see? Let's just we'll give that a second. Looks like mine are coming through. All right. So Biden is a citizen now, so now you can go after him. They did it to Trump. Just saying. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that special? I think they're talking about culpability. So here's this article from the Washington Stand. Well, I'm glad you called it out because, like I said, I didn't know if there's some magical thing that's wrong with it. So this is from the Washington Stand, and it's titled Joe Biden Pardon Hunter Biden to Protect the Family Business. Congressman. After repeatedly insisting he would never do so, Joe Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, for any and all crimes he committed over the last decade and disdained his son's prosecution by a miscarriage of justice. The president reversed course to protect the family business of influence, peddling, and shaking down foreign leaders that netted the Biden family at least $27 million, said some of the president's most thorough investigators. Joe Biden announced he had offered Robert Hunter Biden a full unconditional pardon. Let's see if we can make that bigger. No, it doesn't. Yeah, there we go. A full unconditional pardon on Sunday, December 1st. The pardon covers those offerings against the United States, which he was committed to or may have committed, So basically, like crimes that we don't know about, this covers that. It's insane. But what we need to do, we need to go with Hunter Biden agreed or entered a guilty plea to 9 federal tax charges, 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors related to $1.4 million in unpaid taxes on $7 million in income. The first son had also been convicted of 3 felony charges for lying on a federal application to purchase a handgun when he falsely attested that he was not drug dependent. In all, Hunter Biden faced up to 42 years in prison, although he likely would have served 52 months. But the pardon extends far beyond the tax and gun charges, covering any crime Hunter Biden committed over the last decade, beginning from the time Hunter began his role as a conduit for payments from foreign leaders to the Biden family. An arrangement critics say sold access to the Obama Biden White House. But Joe Biden implied that his Republican political opponents had engineered the criminal charges in an attempt to break Hunter and drive him out of his sobriety. Maybe it was to break him to get into the Biden family business. Yeah, but he wouldn't break because I know they offered him several plea deals that he would not take. And it's kind of funny that someone who was looking at 42 years or 52 months. I mean, jail is jail, prison is prison, right? Someone who was offered a deal several times, wouldn't take it, and then pled guilty. That implies culpability. I mean, you'd have to prove that in a court of law, but let's look at this quote. No reasonable person who looks at the facts of Hunter's case can reach any other conclusion that Hunter was singled out only because he is my son, and that is wrong, Biden contended. Raw politics has infected his process, and it led to the miscarriage of justice. The truth is, in my personal opinion, by my observations and use of common sense, is that Biden got caught up in a mix that he didn't think he was ever going to get caught. And he thought that he could funnel money to his kid and he could funnel money to his brother and then they could get money back to him. And they thought that they were going to get away with this. And it looks like they may have actually done it. But I don't think that Captain Red Tie is going to let this go. I think what the plan is for Captain Red Tie to pardon Hunter. I think that's what the plan was. That way it didn't, it didn't look bad on Joe, his legacy, which super sucks. And I think I think there was something there, but day before yesterday, or should I say on the 1st, when they were in court and the defense put something up to the judge and the judge said, "Are you freaking crazy?" He pled guilty. you know? And so I think they felt that it was coming along and and I don't think this was actually Joe. I think Catitude nailed it in the chat on the Discord, on the members only Discord if you're not part of. I think she nailed it. I agree 100% that this is likely Jill, who is turned into a first-rate bitch, and he's realized that he's going to live the remainder of his life with this woman who hates him and a son who will disown him and talk bad about him or may even turn on him if he's got to spend even one day in jail. Bob, I'm going to bet that there was actually a conversation between dad and mom, and they had a little family get together, little family meeting. They drank a little tea, talked a little shit. And at some point, Dad, if you don't pardon me, I'm gonna put you away. If I'm going to jail, you're going to jail. You can't put my little boy in jail. You got to give him a pardon. Yeah, that's my guess, but it's just a guess. Somebody actually tried to like call me out for my position on what was happening in Syria a couple days ago. And I told him, hey, listen, man, I was an analyst in the military for a good period of time, and I know a few things. And, you know, he just basically wanted to pick a fight with me. And what it turned out, if I actually looked at his profile, let's just say his name was like Abdul or something like that. He didn't like my position, and of course he hated Syria. Anywho, I'm going to go to the chat here real quick. We're going to push a button, and let's see. Dems just prove they are above the law, or they think they are. Billy, welcome to the chat. This melody, wow! I just realized how long the delay is. Um, Tess showed up several seconds before I showed you typing. Yes, there can be a delay from time to time. I am transmitting in 4K, boom, 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 and so there's going to be a little bit of a delay. Fox banner on one above the law, except Hunter Joe Biden. Why take a plea deal when Daddy will give you a pardon? It's all about protecting the organization. Yeah, listen, mobsters do it the same way, right? If you think about this, if you really like connect all the dots, mobsters do it the same way. They don't talk. They just go in. They just plead guilty. They just do their thing, or they get out of it, or they don't. Yeah. Let's see here. Over Thanksgiving. Yep. That's okay. Joe will not remember it tomorrow. That's hilarious, Light Raider. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to go move on to the next thing. I thought you guys would find this interesting. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to stay on like subjects that link to subjects. That way there's kind of an ebb and flow to what's happening. Dems is mafia mentality. I like that. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they're talking about. All right, so I want to show you guys this. We're going to push this button. And so Hunter's pardon is 1000% about covering up deep state criminality in Ukraine. So now we're going to be like, it's not just Uncle Jojo and the Biden crime family. We're gonna put on our tinfoil hat. I'm sorry I don't have my tinfoil helmet right now. I'll have to put that on my list to get. But it's there's some other things some nefarious things where the dots actually align. And I found this graph, and I thought you guys would find it very interesting. So I'm going to show it to you. Hunter was a deep state proxy that helped secure and wash funding for deep state racketeering in Ukraine, including the Biolab network starting in 2014. Wow, that's a pretty interesting set of dates, isn't it? I wonder what that's. Let's see, can we date? Bum, bum, bum. Damn, this is a pretty interesting graphic, isn't it? You can like see the whole damn thing, can't you? Looks like everybody is involved here. George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Uncle Jojo. Look at that. Biden. Oh, and it's like, go do this stuff, guys. The ideologues. Go do. Does anybody know what that icon is right there? I wonder what that icon. Oh, what do we got here? We've got the Department of State, the CIA, the International Development Agency, that little known agency that does so much with so much money that nobody knows anything about. Oh, what do we got here? The CDC, we got Department of Defense Threat Reduction Agency, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Department of Defense in general. What do we got here? The U.S. Army Medical Institute of Infectious Diseases. And then it kind of comes down here into all the little sponsors. It's like, we didn't develop gain of function technology. We didn't do anything like that. We subcontracted it out. Boom. All right, executors in Ukraine. So the guys who actually pushed this and made a little bit of money, and basically paid these are the bosses. These are the underbosses right here. Of oh look, the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine. That's interesting. And then what do we got over here? Oh, transfer of biomaterials and research results. So they did all the work. That's interesting. U.S. Armed Forces Nuclear Biological Chemical Program. Interesting. Oh, it's Pfizer. Why is Pfizer in there? Merrick? That is Moderna? Oh, isn't that securing profits, financial support for election campaigns? Guys, this is an interesting graphic. If you'd like, you know what I can do if you guys want to read this later? Here, let me put it in the chat for you real quick. And then you guys can do what you want with you. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and push this button right here and go to the chat. Pardoned by Biden, actor impersonator would be valid. The new guy is 6 inches taller and picture evidence possible. I've seen that, Cindy. I've seen that. But I think that they know they're not getting away with it, so it doesn't happen very often. Bradley says, what's a few extra zeros here and there? Nothing to see here, people. Brad. I guess I beat you to it, Bradley. Yes, you're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to, let's see here. If you guys haven't seen this, I'm gonna play.
And our justice system.
Well, they're too much, too fast, too hard. There we go. This actually happened today, 7:30 a.m. DC. If you haven't heard about this, it's kind of insane. I want you to watch the facial expressions of the woman on the left. Now, obviously, this is going to be. Let me flick a switch here. This is CNN, and so you've got the woman who's on the left. You've got the guy who's trying to tell the news story in the middle, and then you've got the guy on the right that's about to rip them a new ass. Oh, so watch this.
Joe Biden is leaving office making the strongest possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it, and that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure by the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden. You guys can spend all day long trying to spin this, that this is Donald Trump's fault, that this is somehow caused by Donald Trump. Oh, he's appointing the wrong people. Oh, he did it. Oh, this is the worst possible thing a president could possibly do to his party and to the country, to sit for a year and say, I will not do this. I will not do this. The rule of law is sacred. We have to respect the justice system.
The lady's name is Karen.
We have to respect juries. We have to respect the guardrails and the norms of our democracy. These people are liars. Inflation is transitory. Afghanistan, it's a success. The border is secure. Robert Hur is a liar. The videos are cheap fakes. Biden has a cold. He'll never drop out. Oh, I'll never pardon Hunter. It's all a lie. It is all a grift. Every American, except the most partisan, brain-rotted people, are going to be outraged by this today. He is going to leave off. You think 38, 39% job?
Oh, there's the butt hurtness.
Just you wait. Just you wait. He's disgraced today. Outrageous.
Scott, you don't need to hurl names and say people like me are brain rotted. Come on, that's a little beyond the pale, even for you, Scott.
Listen,
we can disagree. We can disagree.
You don't have to defend this. He's leaving office. You don't have to defend it. You don't have to die on this hill. You can say this is wrong because everybody knows that it is. It's wrong. Are you fine with the lying? Are you fine with him sitting before the election all year and lying to the American people? Are you fine with the lying about it?
I don't think that he was lying. I think he made a decision after the fact and decided this was the right thing for him and for his family. Period. Full stop.
John,
Donald Trump decided that it was okay to pardon
Joe Biden, Karine Jean-Pierre. How many minutes of tape do we have of both of these people telling the American people this will not happen? It's I mean, we could play it all morning. It's a lie, and it's a lie to benefit his own family, and that's all that it is. And everybody who went on TV and said, oh, look how he's the modern George Washington. He's drained every ounce of credibility from every surrogate. If Karine Jean-Pierre had an ounce of self-respect, she'd get off the plane in Africa today where they're going so he can avoid the press and resign. He's drained all of her credibility, and everybody else who's defended this, it's draining for them forever.
Well, Karen, to be fair, Joe Biden, we did play that sound earlier, did flat out say on multiple occasions, and the press secretary did, that he would not pardon Hunter Biden.
And there you have it. A tale from the left that makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, let's see. Um, you know what? We're already halfway through the hour-long live stream. We'll go to the chat here in a second, but while we're doing that, do me a favor, guys. It's that time. If you love your country, put a #1 in the chat. America. I'm going to drink some chai tea. I'm going to talk some smack. I'm going to read the chat, and then I'm going to, gotta read some more stuff for you that's actually relevant. All right, let's see here. Apparently, where are we at here? The lady's name is Karen. So she realized, is my mic on? Okay, good. So she realized she is part of the problem and wants to argue with him. Yeah, exactly, Bradley. Exactly, man. You know, it's not for these people, it is not about doing the right thing. It's about being right. That's all it is. That's all it is to these people. Mr. J Shut, where are we at? Mr. J Shut. There you go. There's Jammer. Good to see you guys. America. There we go. There we go. That's what I like to see. What's my chat rate? What's my chat rate say it is? Come here, you. There we go. Average chat rate is something, something, something. I can't tell. It's there we go. It doesn't say chat rate 14. There we go. Okay, good. This is good. This is good. This is good. All right, guys. So uh something happened. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this up on the screen here. There we go. Something happened yesterday, and you guys have probably heard about the tariffs. And nobody's actually saying tariffs on the BRICS countries, except until this article. Now, the the Chinese have a very significant problem. All right. All these little countries, they have a very significant problem because the idea behind BRICS is basically it's not to devalue the dollar, it's to stop the United States' ability to use economic sanctions. Whenever you're sanctions, it's like a series of rules that are issued through the State Department. And then you have economic sanctions, which is what they're really talking about, where they basically say, hey, well, we're not going to do this or we're not going to do that. And it's going to affect the businesses that are trading with us. And eventually it will damage their economic system in some way, shape, or form. And so that's the whole that's the whole focus of BRICS is to get enough countries together. They're actually trying to get about 60% of the global GDP together, and they're not doing too bad at it. So that when the United States says, we're just going to do this, or maybe it's tariffs, that they won't have a real effect on them. The problem is that China in particular, who is actually the #1, you would think Russia would be, right? But the truth is that China is the #1 money man in the BRICS system right now, and they are our #1 importer. Uh, and I hate to say it, but #1 importer globally. They make all of our trinkets. They make half of our phones. I mean, they have got our fingers into our economy, and Captain Red Tie is trying to. Uh, we're going to talk about tomorrow's alien invasion. Where's that coming? Margarita for me. I got you. We're not talking about no damn alien invasion. What's wrong with you? Okay, so basically, the top of this article is Trump threatens 100% tariffs on BRICS countries. And what it comes down to, I'm going to see if we can't make this bigger so it's easier. Whoa, that was monstrous. All right, so on Saturday, President Trump threatened to slap prohibitive 100% tariffs on BRICS countries unless they commit to stand with the US dollar and avoid establishing an alternative currency that would challenge the US dollar's dominance. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop you right there because the BRICS is already a real thing. Okay, it's already a real thing. It's already challenging the American dollar, but it will significantly affect China if the United States says, China, guess what? Tariffs. Gonna hurt a lot. We're not gonna buy your trash anymore. You're gonna have to bring your companies over here and run your companies over here, create factories over here, create US jobs here, if you want to continue to sell your stuff without that 100% tariff on it. And that's the goal. That's the goal. Um, let's see here. Can you pin that link from earlier? I don't know about pinning it. Let me see here. Do. Let me try. Pin to pin. Okay. I'm gonna go pin to message. There. I guess that is been done. It has been pinned to message. Hopefully, is that what you wanted? Please let me know in the chat. That way I can yeah, I can know that I knew that I was able to do what you asked me to do because I've never done that before. Okay, so if you don't know what BRICS is, it's an informal coalition of emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Hence the name. It was created in 2009 and has grown to include other nations such as Argentina, Iran, and the UAE. Do they want to move away from the U.S. dollar? Russia sure does. At a BRICS meeting in October, that was 2 months ago, President Vladimir Putin complained about Western countries weaponizing the dollar to slap sanctions on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine in 2022. He's led long-standing efforts among the BRICS countries to reduce the role of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency and to advocate for developing alternatives. Okay, good to go, Light Rider. All right, so where we got here? Just how dominant is the dollar? We're not really caring about that. And we're despite the government economic influence of BRICS, experts don't envision a challenger to the US dollar to emerge anytime soon. In an analysis by the Atlantic Council, the dollar status as the top global reserve currency was found to be secure in the near and medium term, especially as infighting among BRICS countries stalls the development of a substitute. Maybe this anecdote sums up their uphill battle for the best. At that October meeting in Russia, where Putin criticized US dollar, attendees were encouraged to bring US dollars or euros because their non-Russian MasterCard or Visa cards wouldn't work in the country. Yeah, because they were completely, people are, I always find it a little sickening when people try to use a specific fact to vilify their point. I'm not a fan of BRICS. I'm definitely no Russian asset that I know of, but who knows? Maybe I sleepwalk and speak freaking Swahili or whatever. But the whole you have to bring American dollars or euros because your non-Russian MasterCard or Visa wouldn't work in a country that is in the process of disconnecting itself from the US dollar. Yeah, I think that would be a little bit of common sense there. A little bit of common sense. They always tell you when you travel to a foreign country, you need to like stop at that little exchange booth that's in like every international airport on the freaking globe, on the planet, and exchange a little bit of money so that you've got some cash for where you're going to that they'll readily accept, you know? Maybe we need a little bit more common sense in the world. And it's kind of funny too because when we go to this one right here, the stock market today, dollar strengthens, yuan, euro weakens. That's interesting. What's happening over here? The Nasdaq. Okay, we're not going to get too deep into this because I know a lot of people don't follow stocks, but the S&P 500 and Nasdaq Composite climbed on Monday, kicking off the first trading session of December on a high note after November's hot streak. Investors parsed a batch of freshly released economic data, the Institute for Supply Managers, Purchasing Managers Index of Managerial Activity. God, that's a lot of work. Spending on construction projects hit a record high level of $2.17 trillion in October, the Commerce Department said. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Both ends last week at records, capping November as their best month ever. Some investors are bracing for volatility at the end of this week when the Labor Department releases jobs data from November. The report will be the last before the Fed's next rate decision and could be distorted by the impact of hurricanes and strikes before November. So the market is bracing for a bad jobs report that's going to come out here in the next few days. I've got to tell you guys, and the thing is what we've learned is that, I mean, the stock market or this, stock brokers, they kind of know these things. But what we have learned as an American public who is paying attention is that these reports don't mean squat. They wait 2 or 3 weeks and then they go, they're revised. The numbers have been revised to show complete and utter failure. Oh my God. Oh my God. LP is from Treadstone. I know where you live. No. Okay. All right. So this actually just came in today. Um, and it kind of just like sat around and did nothing for some reason. I'm not sure why it hasn't made some bigger headlines. If you're old enough to remember the Cold War and the constant things happening every day, um, then you might reminisce for this. But in today's day and age, and there is something significant about what I'm about to show you guys. Um, let's see here. I've been hearing the unknown crypto is about to 30x over 45 days. Very, very possible. Very, very possible. Crypto is doing some really crazy stuff. It's like every time it's like, oh, we're getting ready at 45K. It's like, wow, yeah, I really should have got in like 10 years ago. It's too late to get in now. Anyway, so I want to show you guys something. This happened today. This was pretty interesting. Let's watch this. Let's see. Is there any sound? There's 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 no sound. But basically, what you have there is you have Russian bear bombers, and actually, that one's a bear, and I don't recognize the other ones. And that's a Chinese Su-29. Let's replay that. Yeah. No, no, not that, not that. We don't. What is this stupid video? This is not what's supposed to be happening. It's really fast. Let's watch that again. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Isn't that special? Chinese fighter aircraft escorting Russian bombers. Oh, guess where they were? Oh, let's see here. Let's just go ahead and close this out here real quick. China claimed it and Russia did not target any third party, whatever the hell that means, while their nuclear-capable bombers patrolled near the allies of the United States in the Western Pacific. We're used to seeing this up there on the Russian border between in the alert zone that surrounds the United States, but specifically up there in the Alaskan alert zone area. We're used to seeing the Russians up there a lot, but this was in the Western Pacific Ocean. According to the Defense Ministry in Japan, a joint Russia-China air patrols were carried out on Friday over the Sea of Japan, also known as the East Sea of South Korea, as well as over the East China Sea and the waters east of the so-called First Island Chain on Saturday. The Chinese Defense Ministry confirmed the flights, saying that they were part of an annual cooperation plan with the Russian military, even though no one's ever seen them do this before. The mission did not target any third party and has nothing to do with the current international or regional situations. Interesting. The Russian Defense Ministry claimed that the aircraft involved in the joint patrol missions, including bombers and fighters, did not violate the airspace of foreign countries as they acted strictly in line with provisions of international law when performing the flight mission, which is actually very true, very factual. This two-phase mission was the 9th Joint Strategic Aerial Patrol conducted by China and Russia since 2019. The Chinese Defense Ministry said in previous instances in late July, the Russian-Chinese bombers transited over the Bering Sea off the coast of Alaska, which is what we're used to seeing. Well, Tokyo said neither Russia nor China violated its airspace. It denounced them for conducting a show of force against Japan that was a major concern for safety and security. Newsweek emailed the defense ministry in Moscow and Beijing for comment. The Sea of Japan, or the East Sea, separates the Japanese archipelago, that's a fancy word, to the east of the Korean peninsula, to the west, lying between America's treaty allies of Japan and Southern Korea, or South Korea. On Friday, South Korea scrambled its fighter jets to intercept the joint patrol. So you can see they were out there kind of like doing their own little thing, just like flying around in this little space out here. Oh, wait a minute, that's the Japanese Air Defense Identification Zone. South Korea, that's their South. Wait a minute. So wait, so what? They really did. Yeah, they really did like violate people's airspaces. Interesting. They didn't actually enter, but they went into their air defense identification zones. Isn't that special? Hmm. That happened. How did that happen? How did they like do that? That's pretty interesting how that happened. You know what? And I mentioned was scrambled jets. We've already read nuclear bomber exercise in the Sea of Japan. But the reality is that uh, they're. I think you nailed it, West Virginia, Pappy. Just flexing. They're just like they're showing people that in that region that we can go there. They're projecting power. We do the same thing with our aircraft carriers. They're they're doing what they can with what they got is what it comes down to. Here, Bradley's going to bed. He's got to get up early and go to meetings. So we shall see him later. What do we got here? We got 40. We got about 15 minutes left. If you guys have not been following, we might skip over that. Let me see here. Yeah, we're gonna skip over that. If you guys don't know what's going on in Georgia, and I don't mean the state, I mean the country of Georgia, former Soviet uh, satellite country. They're going a little crazy. We're gonna put this on. I'm gonna tell you what's happening. They're going a little crazy, all right, and they're going a little crazy because they uh they have this party who's running the country now, and they agreed to join the European Union. So they started the process. Things are not going well, and now the party that runs the government in Georgia has said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, stop, stop. Something's up. We're just going to slow down here. Let's delay the process until 2028." Well, when they did that, all hell broke loose. They're actually calling it very reminiscent of the what is it? The Orange Revolution that happened back there. I think it was like 2014 time period, but that's a guess. But I want to read you something from the oddest source, which was actually Wikipedia. It's just crazy. But once I read this to you, you're going to be like, "Oh, this makes sense here." Let's see here. What are we at here? The Georgia Dream, also known as Democratic Georgia, okay, also known as Kitstobi, is a populist party in Georgia. It is currently the ruling party in Georgia. Let's see here. So and so is the party chairman, while the former chairman so and so has served as the prime minister since 2024. Okay, widely considered to be the de facto leading person in the party, serves as his honorary chairman. The party was established in 2012 by a billionaire businessman, an oligarch. It won the general election the same year, being part of the eclectic coalition called the Georgia Dream, which includes both. So here's the rub, guys. It includes both pro-Western liberal and anti-NATO nationalists. So they literally created a party that can rare that it's like they literally created the uniparty. Just the Georgia Dream originally declared as a center-left pro-European party, which is why um, they were like, "Oh yeah, let's go ahead and join the European Union." However, over time, it moved explicitly culturally conservative liberal ecocentric direction or Eurocentric direction. So basically, a conservative European party. And so now they're like freaking the hell out, and it's people are like, "No, you said we're going to do it," but yeah, not today, guys, not today. So I'd keep an eye on that. I don't expect that to cause any problems. A little flash news here: UN suspends aid deliveries through the main Gaza crossing. Gee, I wonder why? Because the whole thing is a freaking joke. All right, let's see here. My dad used to say they need to crap or get off the pot. There you go, Billy. Light Raider says China claims all of that, so to them there was no yeah. In their mind, it's like this is ours anyway. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what this violation thing you're talking about is. Let's see here. Quick shot on this one right here. Um, Syria's Assad trapped by rebel advance and refuses to compromise. It's very quickly coming to light that the situation in Syria with the rebel alliance, rebels, you rebel scum, is very wishy-washy. It's very wishy-washy today. The Syrian government said reported that they had killed 1,000 rebels, but somehow they hadn't taken back the city or the airport. Yeah, someone's full of shite. And the Russians and the Turkish are still talking. Their defense ministers, as well as their ministers of state, are talking, going like, "What in the hell is going on here? Who's funding this? Who's not funding this?" Everybody's screaming CIA. Other people are screaming it's Israel. So yeah, interesting. So Israel would be funding a group that has been classified by as like ISIS, and yeah, that's not going to work out well in the end. That's really not. So whatever power play is happening here, it's happening right in front of us, and we're meant not to understand it, which is par for the course if you think about it. You know, it's a little craziness. It's a little craziness, and we're getting close to the end of this, so we're gonna go. Let's talk about the very last thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, and that is apparently national security Jake Sullivan says Biden told him to oversee a massive surge of weapons deliveries to the Ukraine before his term ends. So interesting process, interesting process. The bullet points are simple. Biden wants to help Ukraine before he leaves office. That's bonk. Jake Sullivan told ABC News that Biden aims to help Ukraine strengthen its position, right? And President-elect Trump has been skeptical of the levels of U.S. aid sent to Ukraine. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on Sunday said President Joe Biden was doing what he could do to strengthen Ukrainians' position as the commander-in-chief prepares to leave office in just under 2 months. Sullivan made the remarks on ABC's This Week, telling chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl that Biden aims to continue advancing his foreign policy objectives, which have been utter failures, which includes ceasefire discussions between Israel and Hamas. What the hell are we talking about here? Did we just spin off into left field there, Yahoo News? Even as President-elect Donald Trump is set to be sworn back into office on January 20th. Quote, "We're going to do everything in our power for these 50 for these 50 days to get Ukraine all the tools we possibly can to strengthen their position on the battlefield so that they'll be stronger at the negotiating table," Sullivan said. And President Biden directed me to oversee a massive surge in the military equipment that we are delivering to Ukraine so that we have spent every dollar that Congress has appropriated to us by the time that President Biden leaves office. Quick admin note, I believe it was yesterday, the administration said that they're sending $750 million over to Ukraine. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. And ironically, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Ukraine asks NATO for membership. Make that bigger. Ukraine asks NATO for membership. Invite next week. Letters show. So, foreign minister urges NATO members to endorse invitation. Let's see. We'll endorse the invitation. So, um, yeah. So Ukraine is trying to submit an invitation to request an invitation, then try to get the foreign ministers to endorse it. Zelensky says part of Ukraine could secure NATO protection. He's talking about the area that the Russians have not taken over. Diplomats say no consensus among members in this stage, which means that the NATO people that meet, the members of NATO that meet, aren't even like, what are you talking? They're not even sorry. We're not taking. Just tell them we're not here. Kiev says invite would show Putin he cannot achieve war goal. Actually, no, it might actually just piss him off. NATO has said Ukraine will join alliance, but not said when, and that is a big fat hairy lie. What basically happened was, let's see if there's a picture of him sitting there. There is not. What it basically happened was, is there was an interview, and Zelensky basically said, if you let me join NATO now, then we can just use NATO to defend the property that we're the land that we still have, and then we can negotiate to get the other pieces that we've lost back. I don't think he understands how it's like they're trying to connect like fresh like water to bread and make it sound like a good thing, or powdered paint to gasoline and somehow mixing them together makes it a super gasoline paint. It just none of it makes sense when it comes out of this guy's mouth. And I don't think it's because there's a language barrier. I think that they're basically out of options. They talked enough shit and they got everybody to buy in on it, and then they gave him some weapons that pissed everybody off. And if you notice that that's kind of trickled away into the news, just like disappearing behind every other thing in the world. And so the reality is that Ukraine is basically done. They're going to have to come to the table, and they're going to have to realize that they have lost that land, and that's the way it's going to be. And if you know the funny thing, here's the really funny thing, guys. The funny thing is, I've told you before, this is really all about petroleum. That's what it's really all about. Nobody talks about it. That is Russia's cornerstone key market in Europe, and that is pushing petroleum. They have massive reserves. They're basically the Saudi Arabia of the European area, and that's what this was all about. And then there was the pretext, okay, of this area. Started with the Donbass, that these people believe they're Russians. They all speak Russian. They think they're Russian. They have relatives in Russia. So it's part of their heritage and they should be Russian. And that's actually how they got in there, because there was many years where that place was like fenced off for miles upon miles upon miles. And you had to have a special pass to get in and out and all sorts of stuff. But basically, you know, swaths of land that are the size of freaking Florida. Okay. And I think Russia's going to keep that. They're probably going to give back their littoral ports, just so that they can like continue to move grain and such things like that. So let's see here. I'm going to go to the chat here real quick. We're about running out of our 1 hour here. Trying to let's see exactly 1,000 rebels. Love those magical round 4-digit numbers. Exactly, Tuck. Exactly. Uh, that's the rebels are backed by the U.S. I think the CIA is definitely doing it. These guys are very well equipped, but they're not stupid. I did see some of them with M16s, but they were old. They were like M16A4s. But for the most part, they were sporting some pretty sweet looking Kalashnikovs. Nothing modern, nothing from the modern Russian time. Basically, we're talking like Soviet or Czechoslovakian era weaponry, which is still, hey, it just ain't got no optics on it. It's still kick ass. It's still the toughest rifle on the planet. But all wearing the same uniforms, and all looking exactly the same. Interesting stuff. The Biden administration really thought they were going to win the election. They seemed pretty rushed, if not panicked. Absolutely, 100%. But all of their sheeple are standing by their sides. That's the one thing about Democrats; they all stick together. They're all the people that are standing on the deck of the Titanic, going, "Everything is fine." Let's see. Your Light Raider says, according to NATO policy, they can't join because they're at war. Go. Hopefully, I didn't blow your ears out with that one. Let's see here. I don't see the Russians giving up any ports. They're always looking for warm water ports. Yeah, but it's like it's a negotiating point. You know what I'm saying? You can't just isolate. You can't basically landlock this country whose key export is grain. You know what I'm saying? It's literally called the breadbasket of the world, and so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong. It happens quite often. I just try to hide it as much as possible. Anyway, I'm kind of a human being, Ian. All right, guys. Let's see here. That's going to be it for tonight. We did our hour. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, the people that are lurking in the background, they enjoyed this. As usual, guys, if you do me a favor and hit that thumbs up on the way out the door, make sure that you are subscribed and that your bell works. And if you want to support the channel, then yeah, there's a link down below for you to do that. Also, Miss Melody, if you're in here, I can never remember which Melody you are, to be honest with you. If you have joined, and it looks like if you have joined the YouTube membership, then I'm going to go check and I'm going to get you into the Discord tonight, like as soon as I get done with this. All right, guys. I hope you guys all have a great night. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you, which will be tomorrow. And oh wait, hold on. Let me give you the link. Come here, you. I want to give you all the link. Where are we at? Live stream. There we go. Tomorrow's live stream is going to be kind of interesting. Get a shareable link. It's going to be about how to defend your community. Good night, Chesty, wherever you are. I need to put this in the chat. This is tomorrow's live stream. There you go. Now you guys have all of the informations. All right, guys, until the next time, which will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. Good night.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?